It's so beautiful. Luo Feng looked up at the sky. Up above, it seemed as though there was a purple gauze covering the sky, and in the distance, it had become blue. The color of Dragonstar's sky is indeed special. Gao Sheng laughed as he complimented. Some of the regions have blue skies, others are purple, or green, or red, etc., and they frequently change too. Especially when the sun shines through that layer of gases and onto the ocean. That's extremely beautiful. Dragonstar, because of its beauty, has enticed many powerful warriors to live here. Gradually, it became increasingly bustling. Gao Sheng praised. Among this group of people, the slowest flyer was Gao Sheng. However, Gao Sheng was riding on a sleek, bizarre-looking board. His speed could also reach up to 2,000 m per second. During their conversation, they had easily flown over hundreds of kilometers. Wow! Luo Feng's eyes lit up, looking at the distant city. This was a beautifully built city, similar to one of Earth's. Brother Luo Feng, you seem to envy that place? Haha, that is a living quarters that's considered extravagant even on Dragonstar. It is a castle with an area of 9.8 kilometers. To be able to afford such a place to live, one must be of extreme wealth and status. Gao Sheng's eyes were lit. Damn, I don't know when I'd be able to afford this. Castle? Luo Feng was stunned within. Luo Feng, that's real estate, extravagant real estate. They are similar to Earth's villas. Babata said, the universe is vast. There are countless planets, hence the upper echelons of people in the universe are used to living in extremely huge places. Just like your teacher, an entire planet was what he used to live in. For a bustling city such as Dragonstar, the land is more expensive. That's why an area of 9.8 kilometers for a castle is considered pretty extravagant already. If it were a normal planet, it wouldn't even be considered much. Luo Feng couldn't help but silently curse. This isn't even on the same level anymore. Just a living space, and it's a castle with an area of 9.8 kilometers. While Luo Feng was flying, he spotted another castle in the distance, and another after. With the beautiful weather and the scenic views of Dragonstar, having one's own castle was indeed luxurious. After flying for another 10 minutes, Luo Feng surveyed below. He spotted a more densely built district, with little castles filling up the place. This is Dragonstar's cheapest living quarters district. These have an area of 1 kilometer. If it were Arcale or Empire, even on the main planet, a place like this would go for $1 billion black dragon dollars, and that's pretty impressive. Gao Sheng cursed under his breath, but here on Dragonstar, this cheapest little place is also worth more than $1 billion black dragon dollars. Luo Feng blinked hard. Over $1 billion black dragon dollars? Luo Feng, do you own any property here? Gao Sheng asked. No, I'm still too young. Luo Feng said. Right, me too. Gao Sheng nodded. My father has been strictly controlling my allowance, even only giving me my own planet only after 10 years, after my coming-of-age ceremony. Gao Sheng seemed dissatisfied. Otherwise, I too will be able to buy such a place here on Dragonstar, relaxing and enjoying my stay here. Then, I'll be a resident of Dragonstar. On Dragonstar, that would be living it. Luo Feng nodded. Before arriving here, Babata had told him, the moment one becomes a citizen of Dragonstar, one would get special privileges. However, according to the price of the property here, to be able to just buy the small piece of land or even the more expensive castles, only the royalty of the higher-level countries in the universe or some heirs from the big families could afford it. The most basic would be those who own their own planets, the leaders of these groups. Even if one owned one planet, they may or may not be able to buy a piece of property here. After flying for half an hour, Luo Feng finally spotted an enormous city. The entire city walls were black as ink. They seemed to extend forever out of sight. One glance wasn't enough to their ends. And above the walls, there was a transparent glass sort of decoration. Exquisite and beautiful glass dragons occupied the top. When Luo Feng drew closer, he realized even on the black as ink walls, there were complex engravings. They were carvings of single-horned dragons. What a big city! Luo Feng and Gao Sheng descended, raising their heads to look at the huge wall, hearts racing. Just the black wall's height alone was 120 m, including the huge glass dragon statues above the wall. That alone was a few 100 meters. Also, the entire city stretched far beyond what one could see. This kind of vastness, ancient flavor, shook one to the core. Dragon City has an area of 6,000 kilometers. This city's history is already more than 3 million years old. Gao Sheng commented. It's exactly what Babata told me. Luo Feng realized. Even though Babata had been on Earth for 50,000 years, but even after all that time, the changes in the universe were very, very small. Be it science, empires, groups, etc., nothing major had changed. Obviously, to existences like empires that have been around for hundreds and millions of years, 50,000 years was no big difference. The enormous city doors were close to 1 kilometer wide. People were weaving in and out. Luo Feng, Gao Sheng, and the others stepped into through the doors. We've received the signal, Luo Feng, in the Dragon City. Your communication number is 192873423325. Babata said. The communication number was similar to that of a phone number. No matter how advanced one's communication system was, they couldn't communicate past that of a few light years of distance. Hence, several civilized planets naturally gave every visitor with AI aids and communication numbers. On this planet, one could then use these numbers and devices to communicate. And when on different planets, the only way to communicate was one, entering the virtual universe network and chatting within there. Luo Feng, what's your communication number? Gao Sheng looked towards Luo Feng. Mine is 192873424663. Mine is 192873423325. Luo Feng answered. All right. Gao Sheng laughed. The first thing I need to do in this city is to visit a few elders. Let's separate here. When night comes, I'll inform you then. I'll act as a host and we can eat dinner together. Gao Sheng was influenced by his father's upbringing. He enjoyed making new friends and treating them well. A new friend meant new possibilities. From his point of view, Luo Feng seemed like one of status and background. All right, then let's separate here. Luo Feng smiled. After Gao Sheng and his bodyguards had left, Luo Feng began to walk about in the extremely huge city, basking in its magnificence. The surrounding constructs had their own unique styles. Several constructs were so beautiful they made people's hearts race. It's too interesting. 3 eyes. Oh, this person's mouth and teeth are too interesting. Luo Feng was walking along the district, the many people traveling back and forth. At the same time, about 100 meters above in the air, there was a large number of people flying and rushing. Saying people, but each and every one of their appearances were strange. Within a short 5 minutes, Luo Feng had witnessed among the people the tallest going close to 10 m, and the shortest close to that of an infant from Earth. Their skin colors were also strange, even to the point where there were some with their heads long and weird looking. However, most of them still had 2 eyes, a nose and mouth. Only their faces, be it more facial hair or had strange stripes, etc. That man is oddly similar to the ancient stories of Buddha. His entire body is gold. His hair is even more interesting. Luo Feng felt like a grandmother entering a scenic garden. He couldn't get enough of the sights. Star Traveler Level 6, Star Traveler Level 9, Star Level 3, Star Traveler Level 1, Star Level 5, Luo Feng, relying on Babata, realized many of these people had power. On the streets of Dragonstar, blurred images of endless people moving. Almost everyone was at least a Star Traveler. There were even many star levels. Randomly picking any and throwing him onto Earth, he or she would be in existence surpassing the War God level. Just looking around, one could easily spot warriors stronger than Earth's strongest, Hong and Thunder God. Luo Feng, I've already dialed through to the planet's support service and asked. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire Administrative Office here is about 200 or more kilometers away from where we are now. Babata said, according to our plan, the first thing we should do here is join the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, acquiring the citizenship. Let's go. Luo Feng immediately floated up to about 100 m away from the ground. The flying people were all flying at this height. Star level 7, 8, 9. I've seen a bunch. How come I haven't seen one universe level? Luo Feng asked. Star levels are already considered people with status. On smaller planets, they are hardly seen. However, on Dragonstar, this sort of bustling planet, the star levels are more commonly spotted. As for the universe levels, out of the entire Silver Blue Empire there are only so few. There's definitely a few here on this planet. However, spotting them would require quite a bit of luck. During the conversation, Luo Feng spotted an enormous black dragon engraving construct occupying a large mountain. This was the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's station of affairs on Dragonstar. At the entrance of the huge building, there were two bronze-skinned, strong, sturdy guards with heights up to 6 m. Oh, liquid silver guards. They're really liquid silver guards. The two huge guards immediately stood at attention, wide smiles on their faces, as Luo Feng walked to the entrance. They even enthusiastically opened the door for him. Sir, please enter. Babatas' words were indeed true. In the universe, power, status, and position are very important. Luo Feng smiled as he walked into the large hall. Behind him were the two liquid silver guards dressed in black uniforms. He glanced at the layout of the hall and its several levels, before quickly finding the level that he needed to head to. Level 32? Luo Feng immediately stepped into the round sofa beside. Sitting down, the liquid silver guard stood by his side. At that time, Luo Feng said, 32. D. The tray below the round sofa began to emit a white light. So, it immediately rushed upwards. Without a trace of swaying, it came to a stop. It had already reached the 32nd level. Sir, how do you do? A lady with rabbit ears, beautiful like the spirits in stories, gently bowed and smiled. How can I help you today? I would like to apply to become a Black Dragon Mountain Empire national. Luo Feng smiled. Having a citizenship was necessary for doing many things in the universe. Luckily, he had Babatas' directions. Luo Feng could very easily and smoothly accomplish many things. If it were Hong or Thunder God, blindly entering into another planet, he was afraid they wouldn't know anything at all. Nationality? The lady seemed shocked. At this age, who didn't have a nationality? Sir, please head towards your left, the second innermost room, said the receptionist lady. Thanks. Luo Feng smiled as he turned to walk with the two liquid silver guards following behind him. The eyes of the lady lit up, she thought. He actually said thanks to a receptionist such as myself. Wow, now this is really the upbringing of a big family with proper manners. Even though he has two liquid silver guards, he isn't prideful at all. Luo Feng surveyed the room door. On it were some words. Knock, knock, knock. Luo Feng knocked on the door. Please enter. From within, a strong voice resounded. Luo Feng pushed open the door and entered. It was a spacious room within. There were two workers, black-skinned and very thin, their pupils blood red. One of the two casually lifted his head to take a glance. However, after spotting the two liquid silver guards behind Luo Feng, an enthusiastic smile immediately appeared on his face. Sir, what can we do to help you? I would like to join the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Luo Feng smiled. The low-leveled civilizations of the universe had the weakest nationality, and the middle-leveled civilizations like the Black Dragon Mountain Empire weren't too bad. At least when he was still weak, Luo Feng had no intentions of leaving the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's starfield boundaries. Once he becomes a universe-level fighter or even greater, it doesn't really matter what his nationality is. Oh, what nationality did you have before? Is there any reason for dropping the previous one? One of the black man with red eyes smiled. I didn't have any. Luo Feng said. No nationality? The black man with red pupils seemed slightly shocked, carefully examining Luo Feng with both eyes, looking once again at the two liquid silver guards behind him. Ordinary folk from any planet are unable to acquire a citizenship until they reach the Star Traveler level. To acquire one, the conditions are, one has to reach the Star Traveler level. This was also the reason why during the calamity on Earth, Luo Feng said that even if they left Earth, his wife and children would have to live on the ship for decades, since they had to reach the Star Traveler level to be able to enter other planets. Without a citizenship, the Empire won't protect you when you enter certain planets. For normal people who reach the Star Traveler level, the first thing they do is register for a nationality. However, the man before them has two liquid silver guards as bodyguards. Could someone like this be a normal person? He's probably an elite trained by some big organization and just entered the universe. The black men with the red pupils thought. Sir, please stand here and stay still. The black man smiled. All right. Luo Feng was very clear on what they were doing. The black man with red pupils pushed a button on a machine in his hand. Beep. A dreamy light shone on Luo Feng. DD. The machine made several noises. The black man with red pupils lowered his head to look at the screen. On it were universe language words. No prior information. Since you've never actually joined any other nation, we can bypass many steps and directly begin. The black man with the red pupils smiled. Sir, you just need to pay the administrative fees of 50 black dragon dollars, and everything will be settled. On Dragonstar, a lot of places use black dragon dollars, huh? Luo Feng flipped his hand and tossed out one Ganwu dollar. Help me convert it. Ganwu dollar. The black man with red pupils was secretly delighted, swiftly retrieving from his pocket thin, delicate special currency notes. A small stack of notes passed on to Luo Feng. Sir, this is 950 black dragon dollars. At the same time, he placed the Ganwu dollar into his pocket, retrieving from the same pocket 50 black dragon dollars and placing them into the deposit section of machine beside, allowing it to swallow the money in. Haha, big brother, you're treating tonight. Beside him, the other black man with slightly bigger eyes shouted out. No problem. The black man with red pupils was extremely happy, smiling enthusiastically at Luo Feng. Sir, please follow me. I'll help you settle all the paperwork. It'll be very quick. These type of people working within the government office had many connections. To change a Ganwu dollar to black dragon dollars, the total exchange would be 1.45k, meaning just exchanging it would mean he would have made a few hundred black dragon dollars, several hundreds of thousands of silver blue dollars. Even if he had a good job, this was still about 1 or 2 months of extra pay. After about 20 minutes, Luo Feng had acquired his identification card. From then on, Luo Feng was officially a citizen of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, leaving his name and information in their records. This card's material is interesting. Luo Feng complimented. This card material is extremely durable and sturdy. On Earth, the basic level war god has to use his full strength before he can actually tear it. This material usually lasts 2,000 to 3,000 years. Only after that will it begin degrading. Babata explained. Oh. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng was in a good mood. With the Black Dragon Mountain Empire citizenship, he could do a lot more things. As once said, the path is harder for one without an identity. Babata, where do we go to open an account for the Virtual Universe Network? Luo Feng was highly anticipating this. Virtual Universe Network. Just from the name itself, within that Virtual Universe Network, all of the human races from the universe gathered, the Ganwu universe, and other universe countries, their population all frequented the virtual network. If one were to count numbers, indeed, it would be uncountable. It was just too many, too much. It's about 100 kilometers away from here. Babata began to explain the route in detail. Luo Feng floated into the sky. The entire airspace within the Dragon City was vast and spacious, thus traffic wasn't too dense. Luo Feng also managed to maintain a rather fast speed. Babata, just how does the Virtual Universe Network work? It can actually work from wherever in the universe, communicating through the network? Luo Feng was very shocked and curious by it. The universe was vast beyond compare. Even traveling between universes, there were some places that required hundreds to thousands of sub-universe travel. However, this Virtual Universe Network is actually capable of letting people meet and communicate. What technology is it? Just what technology does this network use? This is something even I don't know. Babata said, this type of technology, even the Ganwu Empire has yet to grasp. Only the Virtual Universe Network company owns it. Within the big empires within the universe, they all have a department from the Virtual Universe Network company. This company must be really awesome. Luo Feng exclaimed. His own teacher, the UNMO Planet Master Hu Yanbo, may have gotten respects from the Ganwu Empire, but against a universe country, this sort of enormously huge presence of a high-level civilization. Even Hu Yanbo couldn't casually go up against them. Rather, the various large universe countries have been unable to grasp the technology that the Virtual Universe Network company has. It's no wonder the company has survived so well. That's a given. Luo Feng, even though the Ganwu Empire and the other universe countries are all high-level civilizations within the universe, and their powers and presences are extremely huge, in the universe, the biggest and strongest are hardly the countries. Babata said, these are actually the seemingly disordered, but actually much more powerful entities around. What powers? Luo Feng was curious. The Universe Galaxy Bank, the Universe First Bank, the Battle Axe Coliseum, the Universe Mercenary Alliance, the Universe Virtual Network Company. These are the universe's 5 great leviathans. Babata said they have absolute monopoly in position. The 2 big banks do business with only the wealthy. Even the undying beings mostly store their money and treasures with them. Babata said, your teacher's treasures are stored in the Universe Galaxy Bank. All 3 accounts are within that bank. Luo Feng nodded. The Big Axe battleground is the most fair battleground. As for how huge and powerful it is, you'll find out in the future. The Universe Mercenary Alliance is a loose organization. More than 99% of fighters, spirit readers will join the alliance. Your teacher, back then, was also a part of it. This in particular shocked Luo Feng. More than 99% of fighters and spirit readers will join? This, who could fight that? Luckily, it was a loose organization. The Universe Virtual Network Company, the virtual universe, has already been named as man's second world. Owning this company, the various big universe countries are all unable to shake or even touch it. How strong do you think it is? Babata exclaimed. Luo Feng understood. In the universe countries like the Ganwu Empire and some others were already the strongest country-wise. However, those organizations that were deep-rooted into every country, they were the real strongest. Other than the 5 great leviathans, below that are the universe countries. Of course, there are some secret powers that are comparable to them, Babata said. Of course, in the Ganwu Empire range, it is still very powerful. The most they'd have to do is pay some respects to the 5 great leviathans. Luo Feng nodded. In the vast universe, looking at it now, his own teacher was powerful back then. However, it was obvious he couldn't even pick a fight with the Ganwu Empire, much less the 5 great leviathans. Dragon City, Virtual Universe Network Company. Sir, how can I help you today? A beautiful lady with a furry tail, dressed in red, bowed slightly and smiled. Open an account. Luo Feng said directly. Opening an account, how much will you pay up front for the amount of usage? There are 3 categories to choose from, namely 100 years, 1,000 years, and 10,000 years. Every year, the price for the network usage is 10 black dragon dollars or 0.008 Ganwu dollars. The service lady said very fluidly. Luo Feng listened. That's crazy. 10 black dragon dollars? That equates to tens of thousands of silver blue dollars. Only the very few elites on the planet could afford it, and those that use it are normally Star Traveler and above. You have the consciousness transmitting helmet here, right? Luo Feng said. On Earth, the humans built their own helmets, but they are unable to enter the universe virtual network. However, for a living AI such as Babata, it was simple for him to enter. The consciousness transmitter helmet, one is 10 black dragon dollars. The service lady's eyes seemed a little shocked. Right now, those with status use auxiliary rays, or the even high-level AI rays, who would still use the primitive consciousness transmitter helmets. They don't trace the owner and his account? Luo Feng asked. In the universe, a few planet owners bought several consciousness-transmitting helmets to give to their planet's inhabitants. Most of them do not track the accounts. However, those that do not track usually only work for about 100 years. When the time expires, one would have to buy a new account. This form of untracking made it impossible to determine who the user was. Meaning to say, everybody uses them for the time limit of 100 years. The untracking account has a limit of a set 100 years. Every account is priced at 2,000 black dragon dollars, or 1.6 Ganwu dollars. The service lady smiled. Very well. Luo Feng nodded. I require 10 untracking accounts and 10 consciousness transmitting helmets. Open the accounts. The 100 years will suffice. Having a Black Dragon Mountain Empire citizenship made opening the account easy. After paying 17 Ganwu dollars, everything was settled. Sir, 10 untraceable accounts along with 10 consciousness sensor helmets. This is your change. Thanks for your purchase. The service lady smiled. Luo Feng casually placed the 10 helmets into his storage ring space. Following Babata's instructions from before, it was okay for him to reveal his storage ring on Dragonstar. However, he had to pretend as though his storage space was only 10 m wide and tall. He should absolutely never try storing anything bigger than that in it. After all, Storage space equipment was categorized into levels. To be able to ride a black dragon ship, with liquid silver guards as bodyguards, having a small storage space was normal. Of course, Luo Feng's storage space, which was more than 600 m long, 500 m wide, and over 100 m tall, that was definitely an extravagant item. If discovered, he could easily lose his life. On Luo Feng, the Yun-Mo planet ship, the corpses of the undying beings and their weapons were invaluable treasures. The hybrid copper essence shard and the storage ring were extremely expensive. And even the little leg hairs on the master of Yun-Mo planet were stronger than Dragonstar's domain lord leader. However, for Luo Feng, the disciple of the Yun-Mo planet, if he ever dared to reveal his treasures, the consequences would be fatal. Dragon City, within a relaxed restaurant. While the style of the restaurant was unique, there were many things similar to those on Earth. Even on different planets, humans still had many similarities. For example, respect for privacy, gaining respect, etc. The older restaurants on Earth had private rooms. Even the newer urban restaurants had private rooms. And this incredibly advanced place on Dragonstar had the similarly high-level private room. Of course, the price was on another level. All right, you can leave. Luo Feng ordered a glass of special fruit juice, asking the waiter to leave. Sir, if you need anything, just press the button. The waiter smiled as he left, closing the door behind him. Luo Feng immediately closed the door from within the private room, ordering both liquid silver guards to protect him. Babata, enter the virtual universe. Luo Feng ordered. Haha, I've long been awaiting this day. Babata was extremely excited, wanting to enter ever since they opened the account. However, once he entered the network, his consciousness would be in the network itself. While he was able to multitask, he didn't have the ability to split his consciousness. Hence, he needed to find a safe spot. Virtual universe accessing. A low-pitched loud voice resounded within his consciousness. Luo Feng's consciousness went all black. This was an ancient city. On the streets were huge chunks of carved-up rocks everywhere. The people of the streets looked peculiar, different heights, different races. Most of them, however, were dressed in simple gray clothes, and on all their shoulders was a little spirit. Chua. A man suddenly appeared amidst everyone on the street. It was Luo Feng. He was wearing simple gray clothes. On his shoulder sat a little spirit the size of a fist, the demon Babata. He too was wearing the same clothing, only green. He looked adorable, like a little spirit. This is the virtual universe network? Luo Feng stood in the streets, looking at the traffic as it passed by, stunned. Of course. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng. We are currently in the Ganwu continent of the virtual universe. On the border, a little island of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Island? Luo Feng blinked his eyes. All of those under the Black Dragon Mountain Empire, when entered into the virtual universe network, will appear on Black Dragon Mountain Island. Babata explained, even though in name it's an island, but the star field of the Black Dragon Mountain Empire has over 8,000 galaxies, and countless planets have large numbers of humans online. That's why the appearance of this island is actually larger than any of the planets in the universe. Luo Feng was dumbfounded. Anyone who enters the virtual universe will have an assistant, Babata said, which is the little spirit on everyone's shoulders. The assistant's intellect level is directly linked to the online person's usage of the consciousness sensor helmet, the quantum computer, AI, or the living AI. The little spirit for the helmets cannot think on their own. They can only answer simple questions and orders. Whatever you order, they will react. Babata explained. Luo Feng nodded. In the universe, you can chat with your good friends far away. You can even spend money to convey that you want to meet somewhere in the virtual universe. Babata explained. Also, things such as stocks and bonds, finance, business, and such can all be done in the virtual universe. You can settle the bank accounts from here. You can learn and practice martial arts from here. You can trade or buy and sell stuff here. You can play virtual games. These are 100% simulated virtual games, as lifelike as reality. There are many kinds of games too. You can say, as long as you can think of it, the game companies will definitely be able to make them. Games, delicious food, beautiful women, banking, deals, duels, learning, everything is here. Babata said. The virtual universe is a market that's bigger than any planet. All the universe's elites are gathered here. Whatever is impossible in reality can happen here. There are some who even treat the virtual games as reality, playing for hundreds to thousands of years. Even getting married and having children in the game. The main condition is, you have the money to play. After all, most of those playing are those who pay money. Only an extreme few earn money from the games. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. It was too vast. Compared to the physical universe, the virtual universe was more advanced and alluring. However, the virtual is still the virtual. Babata said seriously, no matter how long you stay in this virtual universe, you cannot train your physical body. To the strong, this network is only a convenient pathway. You can through it meet and communicate with fellow strong fighters. You can buy and sell things that you'd never be able to buy in reality. And if you dive into the virtual universe and spend all your time in the virtual games, unless one is without stress or ambition and owns large amounts of wealth, most usually end in tragedy, Babata emphasized. He was very clear on the allure of the games, hence he needed to remind Luo Feng. Of course, if you play some of the group training games or single-player training games, they are similar to Earth's training simulators. That's fine. Babata added. Training simulators? Luo Feng was speechless. That's called a game too? It was pure training. Babata, check for me the metal groups that the golden horn beast requires and the metal groups needed to train deity of the world. Luo Feng asked. In the virtual universe, it was still safe to communicate with Babata through the exchange of their thoughts. The virtual universe company was guaranteed never to divulge anyone's personal messages or their personal information. The two absolutes, these were the foundation of the virtual universe network company. Luo Feng, the star-level golden horn beast, the optimum metal groupings to swallow would be 325 B-grade pure metal groupings. They can increase the internal world's growth speed by 89 times. I've already collected information on these 325 types of metals. They are available in the universe. Babata had very swiftly scanned through all the news and data online. How about it? How much money do we need? Luo Feng asked. 89 times. From the star level 1 to the universe level, the slowest would be 100 years. The moment he began swallowing the metal groupings, a little more than a year, and he could step into the universe level. The universe level, even on a planet like Dragonstar, was someone of status. In the Milky Way, it was even more sacred, almost like an emperor. 1 year's worth requires more than 60 billion black dragon dollars. Babata said. Why so much? A ton of B-grade black iron spirits, wasn't it just 9 black dragon dollars? Even though they are metal groupings, eating them would be even better. But 100,000 tons for 1 year was the max. How was it still over 60 billion? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. 100,000 tons of black iron spirits were only worth a few million black dragon dollars. Luo Feng, your thinking is wrong. Even though a grade and B-grade metals are cheaper, the B grades are cheaper than the C grade. The C grades are cheaper than the D grades. These are the normal situations. However, there are still some very special metals. Babata said, for example, the C grade liquid silver, which is used to build the liquid silver guards. One liquid silver guard, approximate, uses about 1 ton of liquid silver. 1 ton of C grade black yttrium is only about 3,000 black dragon dollars. However, one liquid silver guard, do you know how much they cost? Babata questioned. Luo Feng was stunned. Right. Even the high-level government officials and personnel reacted differently when they saw the liquid silver guards. Obviously, the liquid silver guards were extremely expensive. Otherwise, they wouldn't even care. One liquid silver guard is priced at 280 million black dragon dollars. 1 ton of liquid silver is priced at 160 million black dragon dollars. Compared to the similar C-grade black yttrium metal, it's much more expensive. Babata said. It's because the liquid silver is a special metal, very rarely seen, hence it's extremely expensive. It's more expensive than many D-grade metals. And your internal world's growth requires 325 types of B-grade metals grouped together. 3 of them are space-type metals. They are the materials used to make the space storage items. Hence they are more pricey, plus you require large amounts. Babata explained. Luo Feng could only helplessly force a smile. Those were materials used to create the space ring and other items. How could they be cheap? And he required swallowing up to 100 tons every day. He was going to continue for a year? 60 billion black dragon dollars wasn't expensive, but he didn't have any money. 900 Ganwu dollars only equates to 900,000 black dragon dollars. Facing the $60 billion sum, it was too huge a difference. Of course, there are other metal groupings which are much cheaper. However, you still can't afford them, Babata said. For example, there's a type of metal grouping. You'd spend about 10 billion every year, increasing your training speed by 39 times. And another that uses about 3 billion black dragon dollars every year, the training speed will increase by 20 times. And another that uses 100 million, raising your speed by 5 times. Finding metals for the golden horned beast was troublesome, but as a human, finding these metals were a lot easier. Buying in virtual universe, what couldn't be bought? However, it still required money. The golden horned beast eats too much, eating ton after ton every day. Luo Feng was feeling the pinch. As for deity of the world and the required metal groupings, that was even more expensive. You should just drop that for now, Babata said directly. After Luo Feng shook off these thoughts, he asked the second important question. Babata, if I wanted to place the Earth under my name, I can become the planet's leader. What are the conditions? Stopping other people from other planets from buying the planet and enslaving the people of Earth. The best way was to become the leader himself. Gaining the recognition from the Empire and coming under its rule. There would be no one who would dare to fight against a planet with a leader. Becoming Earth's leader? Let me check. Babata blinked. I found it. Babata's search speed was extremely fast. What are the conditions? Luo Feng's eyes were lit. For a scouting unit in the universe to discover a new planet, or discover a planet without a leader in the law books, there are 3 choices, Babata said. The first is to tell the Empire and acquire their reward. The Black Dragon Mountain Empire will, according to the different planets, reward the lowest 10 billion black dragon dollars to the highest 100 billion black dragon dollars. This way, of course, you won't be able to become Earth's leader. The second choice is to immediately buy the planet, as it was discovered by you. Hence, the initial price for buying the planet will be low. According to the planet's grade, buying the planet would require the lowest 300 billion black dragon dollars and the highest 3 trillion black dragon dollars. Luo Feng took a deep breath. That was too expensive. However, Luo Feng was clear that a planet sale, the amount of money required was too extravagant. After all, owning a planet with life was akin to having one's own gold mine. The lifespan of a planet with life was usually very, very long, lasting up to hundreds of millions of years. It could totally be a family heirloom or inheritance. This is because humans have a limited lifespan. Hence, a planet sale price would normally be in the trillions. The third choice is to jointly govern the planet with the Empire. You just need to pay administrative fees of 100 billion, the highest 1 trillion black dragon dollars. Babata said, this joint governance, the Empire will not interfere with any of the planet's actual affairs. All they'll do is monitor and tax the entries and exits from the planet. They won't bother about anything else. The second and the third options both allow you to be the planet's owner. Luo Feng listened and nodded. A planet's main source of income was the entry and exit for planets within the universe. If one didn't have any interaction with the rest of the universe, how would one earn universe currency? I don't care much about the tariff. I can work with the Black Dragon Mountain, but I don't have any money. Luo Feng was helpless. Not just the money, you don't have the ability to actually request them to let you be Earth's leader, Babata said. Why? Luo Feng was suspicious. How will you declare? Back then your teacher Hu Yenbo used nothing but his flesh body to travel between universes, entering dark space, through special space techniques, enshrouded Earth and the surrounding 1,000 light years in his cover, making it lost from the universe locators and maps. The other ships had no way to find this marker anymore. Hence, they naturally cannot rely on passing through the universe to find Earth. Babata said, normal ships can only rely on flying close within a 1,000 light years, continuous flying for close to 1,000 years before being able to reach Earth. Don't tell me that when you apply to be Earth's leader, you'll say, you flew almost 1,000 years and discovered Earth? Planets that are discovered after such a long flight, firstly have no value. No one would be willing to spend so much time. Secondly, as long as they are not stupid, they might suspect you are the disciple of Yun Imo planet. Unless there is someone who is able to break through your teacher's space technique. Another way would be a new wormhole was discovered in the star field around. Otherwise, Earth is currently still very safe. Dragon Star, a restaurant's private room. His consciousness returned to reality. At least right now, Earth is still safe. Luo Feng smiled, picking up the glass of fruit juice from the side, sipping on it. HM? Luo Feng squinted, creasing his eyebrows. This taste. It was a peculiar taste. After drinking it down, all his goosebumps stood up. After carefully tasting it, it was indeed a very unique taste, something that was totally new to him. Wow, Earthling's first taste of this drink. Another sip. Luo Feng laughed. Wong Wong. The wrist communicator started to vibrate. On this planet, only Gao Sheng had his number. Haha, Luo Feng, I've settled my matters. Let's go eat together. Gao Sheng shouted. Where? Luo Feng laughed. Dragon City North District, not far from the slave market. There's a place that's not bad, called 100 Flavors Restaurant. Gao Sheng said. All right, within a half hour. Luo Feng ended the call, raising his head to finish the fruit juice that he had just tasted for the first time. With 2 large gulps, he headed out. The Milky Way, Earth. The sun was resplendent, shining down on the ocean and its waves, and in the air above the ocean, 2 human silhouettes were flying together, heading towards the Sahara Desert. It was Hong and Thunder God. This third brother actually told us nothing and slipped away. Thunder God was frustrated to the point he was gritting his teeth. Third brother has to leave for a month. It probably is something really important. Hong said calmly. Everyone has their own little secrets. When he returns and is willing, he'll fill us in. Humph. I'll definitely lash out at him when that time comes. Thunder God bit down hard. Hong and Thunder God were flying and chatting along the way. The days on Earth were indeed relaxed and carefree. Ever since the swallowing beast incident, Hong, Thunder God, and Luo Feng, the 3 warriors had helped strengthen Earth by leaps and bounds. And the sea creatures, the 2 grand emperors were gone too, lowering the threats to the lowest ever. It was peace on Earth. These sort of days had already been maintained for over 2 years. What the Earth people didn't know was that in a star field not too far away from Earth, a universe scout ship was constantly approaching with shocking speed. 320,000 light-years away on Dragon Star. Dragon City North District, 100 Flavors Restaurant 2nd floor. This way. A voice sounded. Luo Feng turned to look. Gao Sheng was standing and waving his hand. Luo Feng immediately smiled and walked over. Brother Gao Sheng, you seem to be in a good mood. Luo Feng sat. I have good news. Of course my mood will be good. Gao Sheng's eyes were lit, laughing contently. Oh, I'll tell you in a bit. Let me first order. This 100 Flavors restaurant has a few very renowned dishes. Following that, Gao Sheng waved his hand. A beautiful, alluring lady with jade hair walked over. Luo Feng looked over. Luo Feng was shocked. This jade-haired lady was indeed beautiful. The most shocking thing was, her power wasn't even in the Star Traveler level. On Dragon Star, the norm on the streets was Star Travelers, with small numbers of star levels. The restaurant I visited before for fruit juice, the waiter was an ordinary person. I didn't expect this restaurant to be the same. However, the Virtual Universe Network Company, along with the government personnel, are all Star Traveler level. Luo Feng pondered, understanding immediately. The ordinary people's wages were much cheaper. Maybe they didn't even require a wage. Luo Feng, that lady before looks pretty decent, right? The women from the Dream Shell clan are all beautiful. Gao Sheng winked. If you like, just take her away. You just have to let the boss know. Take her away? Luo Feng was stunned. For a beautiful lady who isn't even a Star Traveler, her fate is usually tragic. Gao Sheng sighed. They are not even citizens. They have no protection by the law. Anybody with a little bit of power can kill them if they wanted to, take them away if they wanted to. Just taking them away, and they can be sold as slaves. If she were to follow someone like you, it'd be her good luck. Luo Feng was shocked within. Killing them as they pleased, taking them away as they pleased. Slaves? Even though Baba Ta had said before, those who are not at least Star Traveler level in the universe have tragic fates and lives, normal folk mostly live on their home planet, not even having the right to buy a ticket for ships. However, Actually hearing it from Gao Xing and seeing the beautiful lady from the Dream Shell clan caused his feelings to burn even more after hearing her fate. Look, she's actually glancing over to look at brother Luofeng. Gao Xing mocked. Luofeng glanced over. Immediately, he saw the lady from the Dream Shell clan in the corner of the restaurant sneakily glancing over. She could obviously hear Gao Xing's voice, hence she looked over. Being discovered by Luofeng, she blushed and ran into the kitchen. Exquisite dishes began to come out one by one. They were indeed delicious, incomparably delicious. Today, I paid a visit to my elder. Haha. He really gave me too much respect. He actually agreed to let me follow him and learn for a few years. Gao Xing was smiling with delight. That elder of mine, he's a big shot in the energy business. Following behind him, 1. I get experience. 2. I can start to build my network. Luofeng was shocked. Energy business? In the universe, whenever planets trade among each other, they all rely on the ships, interstellar transport, etc. And the ships, battleships all require energy to function. Even the undying beings require energy. Be it Earth or the universe, the energy business has always been a very profitable and hard-to-get-in kind of business, much harder than the slave market. Without any connections or friends, even with money, one can't get in. This Gao Xing doesn't have an ordinary background. Luofeng thought. When the sun matures, he gets a planet. Now Gao Xing is even beginning to step into the energy business world. Luofeng, when are you leaving? Looks like I'll be here on Dragonstar for a few years. Gao Xing said. I'll be leaving soon. Maybe even later today. Luofeng said. The purpose of coming to Dragonstar and the tasks have all been almost finished. According to Baba Ta, there was only one thing left, to go to the Ganwu Dojo to sign up. After that, he could leave Dragonstar already. That fast? Gao Xing seemed disappointed. What's your virtual universe number? When you return, we brothers can spend some time together playing some games. Alright. Luckily, he had just opened the account. Luofeng passed his virtual universe number to Gao Xing, and vice versa. In the future, even if the two were tens of millions of light years apart, they could still communicate through the virtual universe. In the restaurant, Luofeng was chatting with Gao Xing. Suddenly, 3 youths walked up from the stairs. All of their heights were close to 2 m, their silver hair swaying. Their pupils were a very moving blue color. The 3 were all wearing black special uniforms. The one in the middle even had a colorful medal on the left side of his chest. Luofeng, look, these 3 are disciples at the Ganwu Dojo. The middle one is even a citizen of Dragonstar. He owns his own place here in this planet. Gao Xing said softly. Oh? Luofeng looked over. The black special uniform was the standard training uniform for the Ganwu Dojo. That medal was the identification proof of a citizen of Dragonstar. With it, on Dragonstar, that was the safest form of protection. Wei Lin, just lend me your spirit weapon for half a day to play with. The disciple on the left said amongst the 3. I bought it myself. The center disciple with the medal flipped his hand, and it appeared an axe-like metal disc. On the disc itself were some unique engravings. This is a level 2 spirit weapon of the highest quality. I actually begged my family for a long time before getting the bank card. If I'm unable to reach the universe level, this spirit weapon will follow me for life. 6 billion black dragon dollars. I could have easily bought several C-grade ships. A swipe of the card. Even I felt the pinch. The disciple deliberately shouted every word, drawing the attention of everybody else. 6 billion black dragon dollars? Level 2 highest quality spirit weapon? High quality spirit weapon. The 2 other disciples at the side were staring with their eyes gleaming. We can't even think about it for the rest of our lives. A spirit reader was only capable of using his maximum battle prowess with a proper spirit weapon. Also, since the construction of a spirit weapon was extremely complex, hence their prices too were very expensive. Much less the level 2 high-quality spirit weapon. Hiki. The disciple called Wei Lin, as if massaging a woman's skin, gently caressing the spirit weapon in his hand, his gaze passionate. A table in the distance, Luofeng and Gao Xing both looked over. Spirit weapon? Luofeng stared blankly for a bit, before asking, Baba Ta, my soaring shuttle and arc cutter blade, what level spirit weapons are they?